This is Tom Giordano from Giordano Bookkeeping. In this video, I will show you how to do progress payment invoicing. This is applicable when you have jobs that have multiple stages and you send invoices for each stage. For example, you might have a job where you bill 15% upfront, another 75% at the midway point, and then the last 10% is billed after completion. In order to do progress payment invoicing, we will use the estimate tool in QBO. We're going to create estimates for the customer, then convert them to individual invoices for each progress payment. This is a nice feature because you could work off of one estimate throughout the entire project, which keeps all of the information in one place rather than piecing together disjointed invoices over the life of the project. And just as a side note, if the actual invoice needs to be different than the estimate, you could always change that as you go. All right, so the first thing we're going to need to do is turn on progress invoicing. So we'll go to settings, accountant settings, sales, go down to progress invoicing, and we're going to turn this on. Save and hit done. Next, we're ready to create the estimate. So go to sales, estimates, create estimate. Okay, so let's add our customer. I'm going to add a sub customer. I like the sub customer feature. If you've seen any of my other videos about this, you know that I feel it's a simple way to be able to generate better reports, such as job costing reports, things like that, by using the sub customer. So that's what I'm going to use for this example. But it doesn't have to be a sub customer. All right. So let's just say there are three stages to this project. I'm going to put them all in here. There's the first stage, put in your price. This is the second stage. Okay, we're all set up now. Now let's review and send. Let's see how it looks. All right, so you notice up here on the top left, it says estimate. It's got the three stages of the project, and it tells you what each stage of the project will cost for a total down here at the bottom. All right, we can go ahead and send the estimate. The next thing you'll do when the estimate is accepted, you hit this button here that says mark accepted. You could put who accepted it, who gave the authorization, and you could select the date it was done for record keeping. That's a nice feature too. I don't need to do that here, but that's something you may want to do. All right. So now let's say it's time to send the first invoice for the first progress payment. We'll find this estimate, convert to invoice. I like to do manual entry by line because when I sent my estimate, I had three different lines breaking out what each step of the project was going to be. Now, percentage or amount that might be used when you, instead of sending an estimate with multiple lines, just send an estimate with this is the project and this is the total cost in one line. And then you could send a progress payment based on a percentage of that total. But for this example, I broke it out, so I'm going to stick with those three lines that I had used in the estimate. So I'll go manual entry for each line. And here we are. Here are my three stages, and I'm billing for the first one right now. So in this due column, I'm going to put in 450 because that is the amount on that line. So notice that there's a dollar amount or a percentage. You could right now I have the dollar amount on, so I'm putting in the dollar amount that's due. You could do the percentage and put in 100%. It's fine. It doesn't make a difference. It's whichever you prefer. or if it might be applicable in a situation that you're in. But for right now, this is okay to do it that way. All right. Now I have this first line selected. So let's review and send to see what this invoice will look like to the customer. Okay. So in the top left corner, we have invoice. The three stages are still here because we're billing for the first. We see the amount is populated for the stage we're billing for. In the other two stages, the amount column is 0, and the total at the bottom is just for the stage that we're billing for. Now, notice that there is this rate column also, and the rate is showing what the all three stages, what they are individually. Um, if you like if you wanna show that, that might be something that you like so that the customer can see what's to come, or maybe you don't want to because it's very variable and you might change that amount. You don't wanna continuously remind the customer what you had quoted. It really is preference and, you know, it's up to you, and this is customizable. I do have a separate video on customizing invoices where you could change color scheme, font, you could remove columns, different things like that. So if you're interested, check out the invoicing customization video that I have as well. All right, so let's go ahead and send this invoice. All right, let's say it's time to send the second progress payment. Again, you find this estimate and we convert to invoice. And notice that only the last 2 are here, right? So the one that you billed for, that went away because it was already taken care of. So that's nice also to show you where you are in the project. You know that you've sent that invoice. And just to illustrate, since I talked about the percentage versus the dollar sign, I'll just put in 100% and the 950 comes up. So whatever you want to do is fine. Let's review and send. All right, so here we go. Again, the amount for the stage you're billing for is populated. The next one is not, and the total is there. So we're going to go ahead and send the invoice. All right, just to complete it, let's send that third invoice. Convert, create, and we have that last one. So $150. Let's review and send. And just that last piece is there. I like that it takes away the prior stage of the job because one, it's if you compare it to the estimate, you could see, all right, well, what was there that we started with, and they disappear as they get built, so you know that part of the project is gone, right? So it kind of gives a layer of transparency and predictability to the customer and for you to look at to say, okay, where are we in the project? Plus, I like that it goes away because it doesn't continuously remind the customer, what you previously billed for them. It's just, what do we have going forward? So I'm going to go ahead and send this last invoice. And that's it. You could see that this entire estimate was converted. So if you go in here and you look, oh, there's no more progress payments to be made. I'm all done. Now I'm just waiting to be paid. So we've successfully sent an estimate for a progress payment job and then sent invoices for each of those progress payments based off of that original estimate. So now you're ready to go ahead and start invoicing for jobs using progress payments. Thanks for watching.